The only place where an Israeli-Palestinian compromise has ever been reached. 我觉得这其实讲了一个蛮重要的东西，就是其实你去 NCKU conference， 它其实是一个文化 ，it's a culture。有些东西，像我去的时候，他们有些 jokes 啊，或者是整个，就是它只是一个 culture。Modern United， 它不只是一个 club， 它不只是一个 conference， 它不只是一个 activity， 它是一个整个 it's live。那 to prepare well for the NUN, you need to do research. And so I took a quote from Louis Pasteur, and he said that fortune favors the prepared mind. What is the research that we need to do? I think there are mainly 4 points that I've written here. And it said, number 1, you need to know how the UN system works. This is the model United Nations. You need to understand which committee handles what. Does the Security Council handle problems with global warming? It doesn't. So be familiar with the UN system. Its committees, know how the checks and balances works, parliamentary procedures. How many votes are needed to pass this? A simple majority or 2/3 vote? This, I think, it's not as important as some other stuff I'll be talking about, but you need to have a basic understanding. Okay. Number 2 is your country. This I think is the most important. And I've written really simply past, present, and future. Past, what's happened in the past, especially concerning this issue. Present, what's happening now. I think when I say future, I mean this part requires you to think about what your country would want. Using all the knowledge that you know about its past and its present, what would it like to have in the future? What are its goals? What is its stances on some issues? 3, friend and foe. This is very important. Friend and foe. Who are your friends and who are your enemies? So when you go to an NCKU conference, you're in the United States of America, your friends, Great Britain, Australia, who are your enemies? And actually, my personal experience is that you should have a general. It's really simple because there's if you look at the map, usually blocks are usually allies a lot of the times. So you can say Canada and the United States and Mexico, North America, they're all allies. Or Western Europe. So there are some simple ways to remember if you don't know, and you can take a guess looking at its geography. Okay. And numbers and imagination, that's my last point here. Numbers as in statistics, because you sound smarter if you can get the numbers. Like 55% of our population agrees that we don't approve of this, so we don't want to pass it. So that's statistics. But what's more important than that, I think, is the imagination. What happens when the statistics are not there? You have to use your brain and think about what your country might want to do. So those are the main 4 points. And I think a very key point here I wrote on the bottom is role playing. It does not matter what your opinion is. Okay? It doesn't matter what your country wants. You are representing someone else. And this is role playing, RPG, cosplay, like that. And so that's probably the 5 main points that I would like to point out. And here I just have a really a lot of different lists of things that you can look into. And I know you can't see it, but it says political structure. I'll just first say, is it a democracy? Does it have a king? Does it have a parliament? Congress, whatever. Natural resources. Do you have oil? I think oil is very key. So are you an OPEC country? Right? Cultural factors, especially look at Serbia today, or Yugoslavia, previously known as Yugoslavia. Culture factors. What ethnic groups is your state, your country composed of? Religions, cultural history, geography, which countries border you and how that affects you, and economy, obviously, the history, and so just generally about your country, past, present, future. So where to find it? I always start with the CIA World Factbook, which is not here, but that's okay. The CIA World Factbook is an online database made by the CIA. Okay, and it gives you all the information, basic information, statistics, how many people have phones, and how much they earn, the average GDP. Those are the very basics, and I start with that. I personally, I'm not sure if it's a little bit biased because it's made by the CIA, so, but it's a good starting point. And so you can find that UN.org. A lot of times you just type into Google and type in UN document. You come with the actual official document, that they've made in the past. You can always use that, and that's a very, very reliable source. News sources. I think the three biggest news sources would be the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN. And I say these are three most, because these are very, a lot of people believe that, they're respected sources, okay? They're very reliable. And Google News actually searches all these different sources. So you just go to Google News, type in whatever you want to find. The disadvantage I find with Google News is that if you want to look at stuff that happened a long time before, it's hard because it looks up the most recent events. Okay? So it's useful for if you want to look up recent events that has to do with the current issue. NGO information, non-government organizations, like the Red Cross or Greenpeace. Red Cross does humanitarian aid. Greenpeace does environmental action. And so say you're looking at how many refugees are in Darfur, have been displaced in the Darfur region. You probably could find that at the Red Cross website. These are some websites that you can look into. And academic publications. Actually, this paper, I actually went online and I went to the World Bank. I don't know if you guys know what that is. The World Bank. It's a very big organization that lends money to developing countries to help them build infrastructure. And they make publications about how, if this will be profitable or whatever. And so I used that actually as a basis for my own business paper. Stuff like that, academic publications. And I think the last one is actually the most important because a lot of people around you, your friends, your teachers, maybe your parents, they might know actually a lot about this information or on this issue. And you can talk to them. I think it's a very good, this club, it's a very good way to get around. Joseph Humble knows a lot, I'm sure, about a lot of things. So you can always go ask him. Okay, so that's the where. Any questions? Everybody? Yeah. It's just using Google.com. Pretty much. On the website, if they say to call the consulate or the consul, call the ambassador. I think maybe if you have the time, yeah, you can definitely try. Source reliability. So if it's 2006 or 1996, that makes a big difference. A lot of things happen in 10 years. Author, Associated Press, or Hot Boy 234 will post something on his blog. A reliable source is very important. I've been to conferences where a person made up a number and he was actually asked by the delegate, what's your source? And he couldn't say because he made it up. So always have your source with you. Know where your sources are, be able to cite it, date, And Wikipedia is very special because a lot of us use it. I use it a lot, but do not use it for any one sources because you can edit it and people can edit at any time. So, there's a lot of vandalism. Like at my school, we edit our rival school's website and make it say really weird stuff. So it's not a reliable source. So don't use Wikipedia. There are other actually online encyclopedias I don't know if you guys know MSN Encarta. MSN Encarta. Ever used it? Or Britannica? You heard of it. But there are other encyclopedias online that are also free. And they're actually made by professional authors who go through information, cross-reference, and they're actually very reliable sources. Source reliability. So just for the fun, I went online and typed in "Jews are taking over the world," and I went to Google. And look at this. The Saudi government daily, the newspaper, has read that Jews are taking over the world, and it's actually typed in an article, right? But this is what I always show as an example of unreliable sources. Maybe it's some random author, just type it up, putting it on the internet. You can find it using Google, but it's not reliable. Okay? Okay?